Hey, GW coming to you live. Pre-Christmas show, I guess you could call it that. And I want to address or talk about what's been going on in the news. The big news in entertainment is that Rob Reiner and his wife were found murdered earlier this week. Last week. I think it was this week. Last week. You're right. I don't know about you guys, but I grew up on All in the Family. I watched countless episodes of them, even when they were in syndication. I know they were in syndication because whenever I'd stay home sick from school, they were on at like 12, 11 or 12 in the morning, pre-lunchtime. So I grew up with that. Everybody who's everybody knew Archie Bunker, knew Edith, and also knew Meathead, the iconic character that Rob Reiner portrayed. So you kind of got to know a little bit about him. In the 80s, Rob Reiner, after the show, decided to be a director, and he has done some powerful movies, and a lot of movies to his credit, to be honest. He has done, from everything from Harry Met Sally to This Is Spinal Tap, Stand By Me, A Few Good Men. His body of work is incredible. A lot of people did not like him because of his political beliefs, but that's no reason for somebody to be murdered. But that's not why he was murdered. He was murdered because his son had a drug problem. And when you sit back and you look at the whole body of work Rob Reiner has ever actually put out, he did make a movie about his son. I think it's called Being Charlie, I think is the name of it. I have never seen it, but apparently it chronicles his drug use and his day-to-day life. So I can remember the day that it happened, that morning. I cannot tell you what morning it was because every morning rolls into one with me. Everything's the same. Me and my wife get up, we have a cup of coffee. I'm usually playing some stupid video game and I'm oblivious to the world until I have to deal with it. So she's like, oh my God. She's looking on her phone, right? She's like, oh my God. What? She goes, are you sitting? And I was standing with my coffee cup in my hand, kind of like this, right? And she goes, Rob Reiner was murdered. I'm like, what? Apparently, it had made the news earlier that morning. And, 3 a.m. or something, it came on breaking news, right? And if you get up early enough, you get to see the late news or the early news today, one of the two. And I guess it was on there. And I was like, whoa, that hurt. It hurt because it's one of those people, one of those directors that you grow up on. For some it's Spielberg, or George Lucas. You say the name George Lucas, the first thing you see is Star Wars, right? You say Rob Reiner, first thing you flash to is either Harry Met Sally, Stand By Me, The Princess Bride, or A Few Good Men. Or if you're in the 80s, you get the Spinal Tap. But he was one of those people that everybody knew. The thing about his movies, though, is he put heart into everything he did. There was heart and comedic genius. And when you look at them, especially like Spinal Tap, he skewered an entire industry. The heavy metal industry, and it put heavy metal on the map. It actually did something. Spinal Tap actually became a real thing. And when you watch it, he satirizes the whole heavy metal culture, and it's funny as hell, guys. I just watched it. I have a copy of it sitting over there. It's great. I haven't seen the second one yet. And, The Princess Bride. My sister used to watch that thing all the time. She loved that movie. Carrie Elway and Andre the Giant. And I can't remember who the guy's name is, but so many memorable lines come out of that. If you see it, it's the quintessential fairy tale. It really is. So he was flexible as a director. He knew how to captivate you with a horror story, a drama, a fantasy. I mean, the guy was creative as all get out. You know? I can remember when Misery come out. I was a big horror fan then. I'm a bigger one now. But my cousin, my aunt Carol had rented that, and she had asked me, "Is this a Rob Reiner film or a Stephen King film?" I guess the ideology behind that is that if it was a Stephen King film, Jared wasn't allowed to watch my cousin. And I said, "It's a Rob Reiner adaptation." I'll never forget that. I was sitting at their house eating lunch with them. You know, because at that time, we would always go up for lunch. We would always hang out. We were kids. We were stupid. We ate lunch at each other's houses. But I said, it's a Rob Reiner adaptation of a Stephen King story. And he even made a helper and a number one fan terrifying. So when you look back at the body of work of Rob Reiner, he encapsulated a lot of things. And Harry Met Sally, a lot of people could relate to that. You know, that was the quintessential dating film of the 80s. You know, it was I don't know if it was pre-War of the Roses or not, but it basically set a template for dating, where War of the Roses set a template for dysfunctional marriages. You know, and I encourage everybody to watch that before they get married. If you can put up with all that and deal with that and still love somebody, hey, God bless you. That's what me and my wife did. But it's sad. You know, it's a very sad thing that Rob Reiner passed away. His son Nick had a drug problem, and it's every time I turn on my phone since the murder, every time I turn it on, right, it says, you know, Nick Reiner had a drug problem, went to rehab multiple times, and they didn't really get to the core issue. Or Nick Reiner had a known drug problem, was in and out of rehab. Sounds like the kid was suffering from a lot of things. And you don't need to be a genius to figure out that when somebody has a drug problem, if they get so strung out, they're going to do whatever it takes to get what they want. They don't care about you, me, anybody. I also know, and it's been come to light, that basically the night before the murder, there was a party, and he was acting a little bit disturbing according to witnesses. I guess Rob would have all these, you know, people, these Hollywood people at his house for dinner, and it was a casual thing. But he freaked people out. He was asked to leave. So I don't really know what went down at that house. All I know is that I woke up to one of my favorite directors being murdered. And I think the reason that it hits a chord with many people is because it's right around the holidays. You know, and it makes things that much more painful. Now, that's my conversation about that, and I hope to God that this mess gets wrapped up and the people responsible get what they deserve. But you know, again, I'm not a cop. I'm just a fan, and I'm just bummed out. And maybe it's time for an All in the Family rerun marathon. So on that note, I do have somewhat of a review for you. I sat down. I was listening to Rock the Bells radio on Sirius XM, and they were talking about the new Puff Daddy documentary that's on Netflix. It's about 4 or 5 episodes long. And I would watch it while I was waiting for my wife at work. Each was about an hour and a half, or an hour apiece. I gotta tell you, and this thing is intensely crazy. It goes from flashbacks of him growing up, and this is like a documentary, so this is not like a movie thing. It's just like a straight documentary. News clips, footage. Camera crew follows him around basically a week before his arrest. And it actually runs the entire gamut of pre-Bad Boy Records. He was a promoter, and his first event didn't go good. A bunch of people were killed at it. I'm not going to give any spoilers. to the fact where he basically, if you agree with the documentary, he uses people to step on them and get where he wants. There's also a lot of sexual things in that video that, if were true, makes my stomach turn. I had a hard time watching it. Basically, in so many words, he portrayed himself as a paper gangster. It is powerful. It is intense. It is disgusting. It is captivating. So, if you get a minute, it's about 4.5 hours long if you marathon the whole thing. Check it out. It's crazy. The one thing that surprised me, though, is having a knowledge of rap and, Death Row and Bad Boy Records. Little Kim, who was Biggie's girlfriend at the time, Biggie's protege, actually, she was not featured. Now, I don't know if this has to do with the fact she was incarcerated maybe while this was going on, or she just dropped out of the public eye. I don't know. But it covers everything, and it actually gives new insight on the murder of Tupac Shakur. If you believe that, and it's strong, the argument is strong. What they show in the documentary very well could have happened. But no one's going to know except for the people responsible. But it's intense, you guys. So, if you have some time over the holidays and you're looking for something crazy to watch Puff Daddy, man. Watch that documentary on Netflix. That's crazy as hell. Speaking of Netflix, I believe that they acquired Warner Brothers. I believe so. Paramount was making a hostile bid for a takeover. I don't know if they were successful or not. But apparently, Warner Brothers says they're going to stick with Netflix. I guess Netflix has a one big giant distribution plan in progress. So we're going to see what's up with that in the coming months. As far as that goes, I just wanted to give a shout out to a couple people. Allie, who recently subscribed to my channel. I checked out your channel, and I don't know much about it, but I think it's pretty cool. So, I don't know much about K-pop or Demon Hunters or any of that stuff, so maybe you can keep posting that stuff. I'll keep checking it out. But there's that. And I did watch the first episode, I know I'm behind, of Fallout. It's on Amazon Prime. I played a couple of the games. Really wasn't into fan, but I never hated the games. But this show is ridiculously good. It's ultra violent, it's corny, and especially the first episode, and I'm going to continue to watch them. Really set the tone for the whole game. And it takes what happened in the game and just kind of elevates it. So, it's worth checking out. Nothing else. If you guys haven't checked out, I got a short of Santa Claus coming through West Sunbury. You guys check that out. It's on my shorts page. Big shout out to Jason McBride. Always a pleasure. And if you guys want something good, man, call McBride's Get the House Wings Extra Sauce. I'm telling you, mwah, they're awesome. And as far as that goes, I think we're done with Christmas shopping. I'm off for a few days from work. And work hasn't been great, but it hasn't been bad. It's just a little bit bumps in the road. You get burned out this time of year, and just try to get through it and get another year going. But yeah, my man Connor, he's working his tail off. He's a good dude. I love the cat. And he's doing his thing. So, Connor, if you ever see this, man, keep doing your thing, man. And you guys, all the subscribers, if you guys want me to watch a movie and give you my thoughts on it, I can do that. A lot of movies this year I did miss. It was a pretty packed year. So, I missed, the Jurassic Park movie. I still haven't watched Megan 2.0. I don't know when I'm going to get to Oppenheimer. Because I just don't have the time. It feels like every time I want to sit down, we're pushed and pulled and we got to do things. And My wife's mother has a lot of health issues we've been dealing with. My parents have a lot of health issues. Not devastatingly horrible, but you just got to come up sometime and help out around the house. I did that yesterday, you know. But that's the thing. I mean, as you get older, you have less time to do anything. If I don't get up at 3 in the morning to watch a movie, or if I'm not home during the day to watch a movie when no one's around, or a TV show, I don't know when I'm going to get to watch it. Now, speaking of which, it is Christmas time, as I just said, and everybody knows that. I came across something very interesting. Did you know that there was a National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation Part 2? Yeah, apparently it was made for TV, guys. Did you guys know this? Because everyone thinks a National Lampoon Christmas Vacation, you only think there's one movie, which there should be. Because based off of what I saw from the second movie, this second movie was probably the worst movie of all time next to The Gods Must Be Crazy. If you guys haven't seen that, don't waste your time. It's about an airplane pilot that throws a Coke bottle out of the window over in Africa, and they think that the gods are punishing them. These natives hit each other on the head with it, and basically the chief native says, hey, throw this to the end of the earth. So they appoint one cat to go walk to the end of the earth and throw it off. Cute premise, boring movie, because it jumps around from the native tribe getting rid of this Coke bottle to a dumb, non-educated jungle safari guide and his pratfall misadventures, and it sucks. And they made 3 of these things, guys. So I made the mistake of staying home one day sick, and I rented that, and I'm telling you what, I wish to God I would give them my $5 to not make this thing. So that's that. But National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation 2 is probably one of the stupidest movies to ever come out of the TV movie universe. And it stars Randy Quaid as Cousin Eddie. And you would think right off the bat that Randy Quaid's comedic performance in the other movies would sprinkle magic on this film. Far from it. The comedy in that film feels forced. It feels stupid. It's bottled up in a very dumb story. And to sort of get people to watch this thing when it first premiered, they have the original Audrey that was in National Lampoon's Vacation #1. They have Eric Idle as the European tourist, or the European cyclist, the bicycle man, I think they call him. And he does the same shtick about getting severely hurt in an airport. Basically, Randy Quaid plays Eddie. Eddie works for a scientific firm who is doing scientific experiments on gorillas, finds out a gorilla is smarter than he is. Joke, joke, everybody laugh. And is fired, comes back to get his old job back. And once he does, he's bitten by the monkey. So the scientific firm, instead of, paying for his medical bills, send him on an all-expense Christmas vacation to Florida or somewheres there. I can't remember where, but it really doesn't matter. From there, we see a bunch of stupid plots that don't make any sense. The movie was terrible. And it really brought a bad name to the National Lampoon franchise. I'm not going to go into it much further. I just figured that if you guys didn't see it, at least you know about it. And it was called Cousin Eddie's Christmas Vacation. National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation 2. Should have been called Bottom of the Barrel, Garbage, put on if you want to sleep, or if you want to get stoned. Maybe this is a good movie to you because it has no redeeming value. Randy Quaid, shortly after this movie, has fallen off the grid. He fell off the grid, and I don't know where he's at now, and it's just nuts. But so Google up National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation 2, and I'm telling you guys, don't waste your time with that. And if you're a horror aficionado, you can pre-order the new Silent Night, Deadly Night in steelbook form. I haven't yet. I'm going to wait till after Christmas to do it. I don't know about this film, guys, because I like the old one. The old one had more of a controversial take on it. I don't know if this remake's going to do it justice or not, so we're going to have to see. So whenever I get that, I'll do the review for you. But I just want to say, everybody that's subscribed to my channel, everybody that watches my channel, everybody who listens to my channel, want you guys to have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and I will see you back next time. So Merry Christmas. Thank you to all my subscribers, and be safe.